Good evening, everyone. My name is Udwak Ayoade. How is everyone doing today? Welcome, everyone, to the Parents Supporting Parents in the UK webinar. And today's webinar is going to be very informative, and it is going to be something that would be beneficial to as many of us as are thinking of going into data science, business analysis, and tech on its own. Yeah, welcome everyone. Please, can you tell us where you're tuning in from? And if you haven't yet, please share with your colleagues and your friends and family. Please, can you type in the chat where you are watching from, and say hello. Even if you don't want to tell us where you're watching from, you can just say hello. It'd be nice to know how many people are here. Hello, hello, hello. My name is Udwak, and I'm one of the admin for the Parents Supporting Parents in the UK WhatsApp group. Wow. Hello, our presenter. Our presenter for today is here, and he's calling in from Canada, Edmonton. Hi, Tomide. Thank you very much for acknowledging our invitation. It's good to see you today. Any more? Hi, Kizito. Hi, where are you calling from? Nice to nice to get to hear from you. Where are you dialing in from? Wow. Yeah. Hello, Olasimbo from Kent. Hello, Yawande. It's good to see so many people involved and interested in this webinar. Well, I'm tuning in from Birmingham, UK. So if anybody, those of us from Birmingham, if you want to say hello, just holla. Okay. Just so that we can start, and because it's going to be quite informative and interactive. So the plan is that we'll have the webinar and we'll have as many questions and taking as many questions as we can. So please tune in, and if you have any questions, even those that have been that you've been pondering of. Hi Kizito from Cornwall. That's a beautiful city, I hear. And hi Mrs. D from Kent. Hello everyone. Yeah, so please, if you have any questions regarding to business analyst, data science, AI, yeah, some of us have questions on AI. Please put your questions in. Hi, beautiful Tinuke. Nice to hear from you. Nice to see you. And from Kettering. Am I pronouncing it well? Kettering. All right. So please, I'm just going to start with an introduction of who we are. So as I said, we are hello Oluronke from London. Hi, London people. How you guys enjoying London, the city of businesses and where things are happening? Yeah. I'm just going to start with our introduction of who we are as a group. Like the name, the title of the group is Parents Supporting Parents in the UK. And like parents who are passionate about development and growth and empowering our parents here in the UK. It's mostly a Nigerian community, but we are still open to anybody, any parent who would like to belong to a community here in the UK. And our aim here is to support each other, raising strong families. Next page, please. And as I said, our mission is to provide a supportive and inclusive environment where Nigerian parents, and I will include parents in the UK, can share experiences, access resources, and build network that promotes mutual learning and holistic well-being for themselves and their families through collaboration and advocacy. We do aim to equip our Nigerian parents and any parents from any background with the tools and knowledge to navigate the challenges of parenting in a new country and to create a meaningful and fulfilling life for themselves and their children in the UK. Currently, we are over 700 members, both male and female, all resident in the UK. And our values are and will always be respect, empathy, mutual support, education, advocacy, and community engagement. And yeah, and as we can see, we've had loads of series of webinars since we started in since January last year, 2024. We had one. We started from having a webinar on skincare. We've had on safeguarding and childcare issues in the UK, which is something that was very sensitive but yet very important, and the mystification of the English education system. And we had in February, well, we had a lot of things in between the first quarter, the first half of the year, and we also had one on building a strong financial foundation in the UK. And this has led to us having one in September where we had raising confident and empowered girls. I would say if you've not watched any of this or if you've never heard of any of this, please go to our YouTube channel and you'll see all of these videos online, and they are very informative. They have really helped people and impactful. And we've also had in November, we had one which had to do with sexual education, how to receive sexual satisfaction from your spouse. And we've also talked about healthy parents and strategy for being productive, which we had last month in January. And we have loads of things coming up. We have so many things coming up, and already for this in February, in the next few weeks, and in March we have talks on insurance, mortgage, and writing your wills and trusts. And we also have another one on job applications and interviews. So watch out for these webinars. And apart from just having the WhatsApp group for giving you information and resources, we also have intercessory prayers every Tuesday by 9 p.m. We also have a Bible club, a Good News Bible club, every Wednesday by 6 p.m. Monthly prayer meetings every last Friday of the month. And of course, we have a monthly webinar at least once a month. Like we said, it's holistic for everybody. And as still part of supporting ourselves, we also have charity projects that we intend to do, and hangouts, summer hangouts for different communities, people from different locations coming together to be able to, build and support ourselves in during summer in August. And for the people in terms of the admin, we have wonderful ladies. We have Mrs. Atinuke, Funke, Mrs. D, Faye Tola, and Udwak, and Dr. Joy. And if you want, we also have an email address. If you want to contact us, please look at just take a screenshot, or contact us via the various contacts we have there, the emails, the YouTube channel, and our numbers. And if you would like to join, which I would say it is very, very, it's going to be impactful for you and beneficial for you and your family members, please put in the Q code. You can scan the Q code there, or take in the what do you call it, the link, and please join. We would be there to respond to your request to join us. And finally, to the icing on the cake, as in to the core reason why we are here, is an introduction to our very own Ayotomide Alo, the presenter for today. And I will give you a brief history of, as in his profile. He is a business analyst with a decade of industry expertise, steering knowledge solution projects, and specializing in the intricacies of process improvement and automation, as well as robotics process automation. Wow. And he also is a data analyst. He has worked with productivity data analysis and reporting, with deliverables extending from data cleaning to visualization, from data gathering to storytelling. Extensive work has also been done on forecasting models. What an amazing person. And he is a founding partner at High Tech Bliss Consulting Inc., registered in both Canada and in Nigeria, where he collaborates with business owners and managers, harnessing the power of data science to drive informed decision making. In High Tech Bliss Consulting, it offers a comprehensive suite of services, including expertise in data interpretation, manipulation, and visualization, passionately engaging in training programs, supporting tech newcomers in their pivot to the industry, and upscaling skills for existing professionals. And guess what? He didn't always start. He wasn't always an IT guy or a data analyst. He has a bachelor's degree in English language and a master's in communication management from Obafemi Awolowo University. So we know it as OAU and the University of Ibadan, respectively. And he lived and worked on projects in Ibadan, Abeokuta, and Lagos before moving to Edmonton in Canada 5 years ago. So it shows that anything is possible, everyone. And yeah, I would bring to you Ayo, sorry, Tommy Day, as we call you, Tommy, our very own Tommy Alo. So nice to see you, nice to speak with you, and very impressive resume that you've gotten there. And I would say it also.
Hi everyone. I believe you can all hear me. Like Uduak has said, thank you so much for the amazing introduction. I mean, at some point I'm beginning to wonder, is that really me? But then it goes on to show that they are limited, unlimited actually, endless opportunities if we're willing to take these opportunities. In starting, I would like to say a very short story. I remember when we were planning to move out of Nigeria to move into Canada. Then I was working as a data analyst in an organization, in a financial organization in Nigeria, and all I had in mind was, okay, let me just move to Canada. Um, Maybe I wouldn't get to pursue a career once I get to Canada. My interest was just to have a better future for my kids. I mean, at the time, I had just a child, and I said, okay, let me just move to an environment where I'd be able to access better education, a better environment to raise my kids. But then on getting to Canada, I actually realized that age is not in any way a limiting factor. So at the time, I was about 30-ish, and I realized that I could actually start all over again. I could actually get new training. I could actually get a new job. I could actually pursue a new career. I could actually go back to school, but then I had to sit and weigh the options that I had, take certain risks, and here I am. With my own role in data analysis and of course with my own organization. So having crossed that bridge from novice to say, well, I really can't call myself an expert, but having crossed that bridge, it's also my goal to personally see to it that as many immigrants as possible are able to actually cross that bridge and then of course get as many opportunities as possible. So I'm going to be moving over to present my slides here. Just a moment, please. Or just to be sure, I'm not certain. Am I supposed to present my slides from my end? Just a moment, please. Okay. So while I'm sorting that, I'll just basically go ahead and speak
Hello, everyone. So apologies for that pause, but we're trying to get Tomide back. So please just bear with us. I think there is some problem with his internet, but we would get back to you as soon as possible. And yeah, I have still seen some people, more people have joined. Thank you so much for joining. Yeah, please don't stop telling us where you're calling from. Oh. Hi, Grace. Grace from Manchester. Hello. How are you? Hi, everyone. As I said, we are parents supporting parents, so we always have our children around, and you take it as it goes, no matter what. No interruptions. We flow. Hi, Olushola from Scotland. I lived in where in Scotland do you reside? I have lived in Dundee and Glasgow before moving to Birmingham, so I still have close relationship with Scotland. Hi, everyone. Yeah. Yes, Mrs. Dio, embracing the everydayness of parenting. It doesn't stop 24 hours. Hi, I'm Kike from Bexley. Nice to speak or see you, or nice to hear from you. Hello, Tommy. We are back.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
sorry about it. I
No
apologize.
problem.
Tech can be strange sometimes. Okay, so now that we have the slides, like I said earlier on, realizing that as an immigrant in Canada, there are endless opportunities was one of the things that actually made me stay back and say, oh, yeah, this is what I wanted to do. But I wanted to also mark that I had already invested certain years of experience in data analysis before now. But then getting to Canada made me also realize that it was something that I could continue. And it was also a field where we have endless opportunities. So we can move to the next slide now. Okay, so one of the other things that makes tech interesting is the fact that you have your job stability, or better still, career stability. And let's forget about all that is going on around the world. Organizations are calling their employees to come back to the offices, to stop remote work. Um, Large corporations are actually some large corporations, as we may have read and seen it in the news, are actually churning out their staff because of certain automations. But then you would agree with me that it's more like a shift. It's not as if the roles are not there. It's just a shift from maybe manual work to getting to automate things, or better still, automate a transition from doing things in a certain way to using artificial intelligence. So you can be certain that if you're able to continue to upskill yourself, to continue to get new skills, you will always have endless opportunities in tech. And of course, tech also offers that career growth. So working from being an entry level analyst, you can become a senior analyst, and then of course move to a manager's role, a director's role, and then that way you can be certain that you have that career progression. And one of the satisfactions that I get, and I've seen a number of other people that I've worked with, what I've seen that they've gotten from their career in tech is the fact that they're able to participate in strategic initiatives. So, in my experience, while I was working on certain projects, especially robotics process automation projects, you can see how some of these initiatives makes life easy for a lot of individuals. Just like how the people that actually worked on some of these artificial intelligence tools are actually able to see the satisfaction that you can get. You would agree with me that to a large extent, AI has solved a lot of problems. So, getting that satisfaction from it, you are satisfied as a user. Now imagine the level of satisfaction that the creator, the people that actually engineered these things, that they're going to derive from from the product that they released. And like I said in the first line there, let me quickly touch on that. There are lots of roles in tech. There are lots of opportunities in tech, and there are several aspects. So, one of the aspects that most people that are looking to transition into tech, one of the roles that they vie for first would be IT analyst, or data scientist, or like a cybersecurity specialist. So, with that, you're looking at getting knowledge of um, tech products, getting knowledge of collaborations, getting knowledge of project management, getting knowledge of cybersecurity tools, getting knowledge of data analytics tools. Those are things that you can learn within 3 to 6 months, or even less if you are able to pace yourself. And of course, if you're able to leverage on your previous experience. So, for someone that has a background in, say, accounting, for example, or auditing, you already have a good knowledge of numbers. You already have a good knowledge of how to balance things. That way, you're going to possibly find it really easy to learn data analytics tools like Microsoft Excel, like Google Spreadsheets, or maybe database management tool like SQL, any of the workbenches, or even something. Yeah, I can see someone saying I'm an auditor. So yeah, so with that, you can then begin to maybe push your previous experience into something like data analytics. For someone who has previously worked in a customer service role, for example, from back in Nigeria or currently in the United Kingdom or any part of the world, you can begin to see how to use that previous experience to get business analysis knowledge, and of course, get a business analysis role, or even what we call subject matter expert. A subject matter expert is also more like it's more like project management or business analysis, because what you're providing within the team is your knowledge, your previous knowledge. Um, and I'll get to that. I'll get to that part where I would explain how your previous experience actually helps you to transition into tech. I'll tell you, none of the previous experience that we have from Nigeria or from any part of Africa or that we've had previously is actually irrelevant. You'd agree with me that if we take a poll of how many people are on this call that are over 30 years, at least they would have 5 years work experience from back in Nigeria, and even more years if they had the UK experience to it. And someone over 30 with 5 years experience, you possibly have a university's degree or more, or the equivalent of it. So we're talking about higher national diploma, right, from back in Nigeria, or even a number of people that actually moved to the UK for studies. So it means that you have your university degree, some folks have their master's degree, and then they move to the UK for a second master's, or maybe a first master's degree. Now, you can't say that all of that will go to waste, or you want to continue to spend the next 5, 10 years doing some other roles that are not commensurate to your level of education. So that is why I always take it personally when I'm discussing with people on things like transition into tech, because apart from, now, I'm not here to castigate any kind of career, so I won't even mention any career path. But then what I'm trying to establish here is the fact that getting a role in tech is one of the opportunities you have to get a job that is at par with your level of education. most organizations would say, yeah, a degree in economics and business management, a degree in computer science, computer engineering, or core engineering, a degree in business management or accounting and things like that. So it shows that the basic level of education to get some of these roles is a university degree, and that is what a huge number of us already have. So that is one of the things that makes it easy to actually transition to tech. So if we can go to the next slide right now. Thank you. Okay, so moving on to the skills that are required to get a role in tech, I would say we can split what is required of you to get your competence into three. We have what we call the technical skills, we have what we call the soft skills, and then, of course, the certifications. Now, I think I want to take the soft skills first because that is what a lot of people already have, and we do not mostly need to acquire more soft skills. So take, for example, one of the soft skills would be communication. And we're talking about spoken communication or written communication. We're talking about adaptability in the work environment or in the work situation. We're talking about the ability to collaborate. So take, for example, I've seen someone like Uduak, I've seen Miss D, I've seen Mrs. Atinuke. I know for sure putting this together requires a lot of communication, a lot of collaboration. You are vetting designs, you are adapting yourself to various environments, you're organizing various programs. One of this is one of them. Such a skill as this is what we need in tech because you're going to be working on projects, right? Even as a cybersecurity analyst or cybersecurity expert, you're possibly going to have to negotiate with someone from the dark web or someone that has actually stolen the organization's data, and you have to negotiate with them what is going on. This is what we can offer you, and all of that. Now, let me not go into that details, but then let's look at a career like business analysis, a career like project management, tech project management, a career like um, um, data analysis. One of the things that is required of you is your ability to be able to speak, your ability to be able to present your slides, your ability to be able to tell your story in a captivating manner. So, take for example, one of the things that the soft skills would do for you is being able to break down really complex tech information to everyday people. So, imagine we have stakeholders who are going to approve a certain project, and you are the project manager on such a project. These people do not know Jack and Jones in tech. They don't know anything in tech, or better still, they know just a little bit. Now, it is one of your soft skills to be able to then use visualization, to use models, to be able to present really complex information to them so that they'll be able to then understand what you're saying. And then, of course, make informed decisions. So that's one of the amazing soft skills, and some of the soft skills we already have them. So imagine you're working as a nurse, or you're working in healthcare, you're working in a team in a warehouse, you're working as a customer service person, you're working in education, you're working as an accountant and auditor. In your everyday role, you're already collaborating with as many people as possible. You're already discussing, you're already looking at numbers. But then that would be a technical skill. But then you're already speaking with people, you're already adapting yourself to various environments, you're already collaborating with people, you're responding to emails, you're managing meetings, you're coordinating meetings, you're negotiating contracts. So those are some of the things that we already have based on our background, based on some of the volunteering activities that we engage in, and of course, our previous experience. So moving away from the soft skills, we can then go back to the first point, which is the technical skills. So the technical skills required for someone looking to transition into tech would then be based on the role of their interest. So I'll say for sure, the first thing to do is then to know what your background is, what your interest is, or what your interests are, the options, and then do your research. So it's in doing your research that you'd be able to realize the skills that are required and the level of the expertise of such a skill. So Take, for example, we have cloud computing, we have data analysis, we have computer language programming, like Python. Although I know for sure a good number of people are not inclined to Python for a start, so we'll push that to the back a little. But then, um, it depends on the role that you're looking to transition into. That would determine what skills you need to get. So, if it's cybersecurity, then it has to be getting a good knowledge of the tools that are used in cybersecurity. If it's in business analysis, then we're looking at having a good understanding of the business setting, which is the business project, having a good understanding of using collaboration tools, having a good understanding of documenting things, having a good understanding or good knowledge of data analysis or certain tech solutions, because as a business analyst, you're going to be overseeing, you're going to be um, collaborating with different stakeholders. Okay. Okay, so I'll also make mention of those certifications. So it also depends on the role that you're interested in that will determine what certifications are required of you. So in terms of certification now, before I go into explaining these certifications in details, let me also say that it's not all tech roles that actually require you to get certifications before you start applying for roles. So we have what's it called now? The CISSP for cybersecurity, or what we call CompTIA Security Plus. For for a cybersecurity role, we have the Certified Business Analyst Professional, that's CBAP, for business analysis. Um, some other certifications for business analysis would then be your Six Sigma, Green Belt, Black Belt, your Scrum Master certification. We have what we call the PMP for project management. And then I think it's Prince for the UK. I think project management has more like two versions, because for the United States and Canada, I think it's project management professional. And then for we have a different body certifying individuals in the UK. So that would require you to do some further research. As for me, as a business analyst, I'm a certified business analyst. Okay, perfect. Thank you. So we have Prince 2 and then we have PMP. So for someone like me, I started my career here in Canada as a business analyst. So I'm a certified business analyst professional. I I also have my Six Sigma. I have my Scrum Master certificate, and then I am currently working on my certification as a data analyst professional. Um, so the way it works is, with the technical skills and the certifications, it actually depends on what your plan is. For me, I would say get the technical skills first. And the reason the technical skills are actually more important is um, a lot of employers do not actually need to see your certification. The certification shows them that you're taking your job seriously, that you are meeting other contemporaries. So if I have a PMP, it means that I must have actually started in a training where I was trained in understanding stakeholders and doing all of that, right? And then I must have met other people that are also planning to get that certification. But then the technical skills is the actual core of the job, because it is not your certificate or certification that would actually do business analysis for you. It is not your CompTIA certification that would actually negotiate with a hacker on the dark web. It is not your data engineering certification that would actually help you to automate things, that would help you to put in the right codes. So it's usually the technical skills. And the technical skills actually they are dependent, because some of them require you to take, say, 2 months of core training. some of these technical skills require you to take training of up to 4 months. But then for me, if I'm looking at my personal story, I had actually started doing business analysis, or better still, data analysis from back in Nigeria. But I wasn't given that name, data analyst, or given that name, business analyst. So coming to Canada, it took me about 6 months to be able to sit and say, oh yeah, let me acquire the skills. Let me join this boot camp. Let me join that boot camp. Let me join this mentor. Let me speak with this person to know what they know. Let me attend certain webinars. Let me attend certain physical meetings where I can meet people to shake their hands, to know what they know, write it down, and go back to learn. Let me look at let me look at job openings and see what the requirements are. Because that was also one other thing that I did. I looked at job openings that were available for what I really wanted to do, business analysis, for a start. And then I looked at some of the technical skills that they wrote in those job openings, or what we call requisitions. And then the ones I had, I noted them, check. The ones I did not have, I had to write them to like to the side of my notes and say, okay, yeah, I need to get this in the next 4 months if I want to apply for this role the next time it opens. So I actually gave myself about 6 months to acquire this training, and that was basically because at the time I had joined the boot camp, and I had also looked at the option of learning whatever was left for me to learn in self-paced trainings. So I'd say in all, it took me about 6 months to get into a boot camp to get the necessary skills. And the interesting thing is, I ended up dropping out from the boot camp. The funny story is, 3 months into the boot camp that I joined, I realized that I had acquired 70 to 80% of the skills that they were going to train us on. So what I did was I started putting my resume together myself. I got a template of the proper resume using AI tools, and then I used that to build my own resume. Whatever skills were left, I got the training in self-paced trainings, in self-paced online trainings, and then I matched that up, built my resume, and then I started applying for roles. So I think on the third interview, my first interview was um, was a total failure because I actually messed up. I was saying the wrong things, but then it was a learning opportunity for me to see what it feels like to be in an interview. So once I had attended my first interview and I said the wrong things, and then I could tell from the interviewer's expression that, oh, dude, you were saying the wrong things. I had to go back and do my homework again. And then the second interview was better. The third interview was the role that I got. And that's where I currently work right now. After then, I've been to a number of interviews, but then the interviews that I've been doing, I'm not doing them because I want to get a new role, because I'm really comfortable where I am. I'm learning a lot. I have a lot of opportunities where I am. Um, why I'm attending interviews is so that I can be able to catch up on the skills, and of course, be able to tell other people that these are the questions that you're asking. So I'll say to you, acquiring technical skills is actually more important than acquiring certification. So if we're going to put that on a scale of 100 now, or a ratio of that will add up to 10, I would say technical skills would take up to 75 to 80% of the requirements. Or better still, if you're looking at the three, I would say 50% for technical skills, 30% for soft skills, and then 20% for certifications if you're looking to transition into a role in tech. So the first thing to do would then be know what role you want to acquire, get the technical skills first. And in getting the technical skills, like I said earlier on, one of the ways would be to join a bootcamp, or work with a mentor, or get a self-paced training online, and then you can begin to work on other things like the soft skills and the certifications. So I think we've done justice to this slide, so we can move to the next one. Thank you. So now that we've talked about the technical skills, the soft skills, the certifications, once you are sure of yourself, like I said earlier on, that when I realized that I had acquired enough skills, the next thing to do would then to build an outstanding resume. And the reason I added the word outstanding is this: in transitioning into tech, you're going to be competing with a number of other people who have actually been in those roles. So it means that your resume has to be really outstanding. Once someone picks it up, once a recruiter or an employer picks it up, they must be able to say, wow, let's invite this person for an interview. Or better still, if it is ATS that is screening out the resumes, then it has to be at least 80 to 90% match so that you can get invited for an interview. And then once you get invited for an interview, then you can show all the skills that you've learned. You can be as convincing as possible. But then the essence of building a resume, the essence of applying for roles is to get yourself face to face, either virtually or in person, with a recruiter or an employer. So, and what would make your resume to be outstanding? It is if your resume can actually highlight the relevant skills, the relevant competence, and enhance your employability. So, what I mean by that is if your previous role is in customer service, I don't know why I keep mentioning customer service or healthcare, you would not necessarily have to say that you worked in healthcare. If you do that, it's not bad, but then it wouldn't make your resume as outstanding as possible. But then, how about pointing out what you did in the healthcare system or in the healthcare sector that makes you employable as a business analyst? One of the things that makes an outstanding healthcare employee is empathy, right? The fact that you are able to adapt in whatever work environment, you are able to quickly understand what the needs of the person you're taking care of are. You're able to collaborate with other team members to you're able to document things. Now, those are the things that you'd have to bring out from your previous experience in healthcare, for example, and put that into your resume for maybe project management or business analysis. I believe someone had mentioned working as an auditor before now. It is in then bringing out your skills that were relevant or your auditing skills that are going to be relevant in data analysis, for example, or maybe data engineering, or maybe project management. All of those skills would then be the things that you put into your resume as a prospective data analyst or as a prospective data engineer or say as a prospective AI ML expert, artificial intelligence, machine learning expert. So those are the things that would make your resume outstanding as possible. Or better still, let's use the word competitive. Now, like I said earlier on, your previous experience is relevant, is never irrelevant. Do not say, oh, I used to work in a bank. I don't know what I would do when I get into tech. You would agree with me that bankers work with people every day. Bankers understand the banking system. Bankers understand how to use applications, how to use banking applications, how to report computer errors, how to document things, how to interview people. So it means that that is a very good one in terms of transitioning into tech as probably a subject matter expert or as a scrum master or as a project manager. So it means that, and even if your role was not in your previous experience was not in banking, if someone can be kind enough to type in one random job, maybe let's see now, events planner, anything. Let's just type in something in there. That's also an evidence that you're following what the conversation has been. So please let's someone type in something, any role, any previous role. It doesn't necessarily have to be as an employee. Okay, teacher. So it means that if I worked as previously as a teacher and I'm looking to transition into tech, one of the opportunities that is available for me could be project manager or project management. And in project management, I could say, yeah, I want to work as a project manager, but I want to specialize in planning. And what do I mean by planning? Before any organization embarks on a project, they have to plan. You have a tool like Microsoft Project or Microsoft Planner. You have a tool like SharePoint, Microsoft SharePoint. You have a tool like what's it called now? A lot of them that are actually used to plan projects. So as a teacher, you're writing lesson notes, right? You are teaching the kids or adults, whatever it is, whether teacher or lecturer. You are actually documenting what you taught them. You're actually documenting what you feel the response or how well or how quickly these students have understood what you've taught them are, right? You are creating models. So I know for sure teachers would create diagrams so that they can make teaching better for the students, right? So it means that you are able to actually draw, you are able to actually design things. With that, you can go into you can actually go into, oh yeah, I got that sales rep in retail. I would also make a scenario with that as well. So as a teacher, it means that you're actually building models. You can go into what we call UI UX, user interface designing, user experience modeling, which is actually a career, a full-time career. Some people would say, oh, I don't know how to design graphics. I don't know about graphics design. I cannot go into UI UX. But I tell you that with adequate training, with adequate practice, you can actually use a lot of tools to create UI, UX, to create wireframes, to create models that would actually make a lot of sense to a lot of people. And that way, you can then be the one to present to the sponsor of the project. So let's say, for example, we're building an application, a computer application or phone application. With your previous experience in teaching, you can then be the one to represent the team by speaking with whoever is sponsoring such a project to say, oh, this is how the project is going to work. This is what we've designed. And when the project is adopted, you'll be the one to actually train the end users or train the clients on how to use it. So take, for example, if you'd worked in banking before, you'd know that when new systems are introduced, the IT department would then have to come, or the HR department would have to come and meet all the staff to explain to them how the new application works, right? It is also it's also a role in tech. And then Udak had also typed in sales rep in retail. With your previous knowledge as a sales rep in retail, you actually have a very awesome career in tech because tech also has what we call sales. So, what do we mean by sales? Some of these applications actually require, some of these newer applications actually require organizations to use them, right? And if a new organization is going to use an application, someone has to take it to them. Someone has to convince them that the application is usable, that the application will solve whatever problems they have within the organization. So let's say, for example, let me see a scenario whereby a real estate company has issues with people making payments from outside the country. So let's say there's a real estate company in Nigeria, in Lagos, Nigeria, and they sell land, but then they have customers outside Nigeria that need to make payments. So if you, as a previous sales rep in retail, if you are able to acquire project management skills and move into tech, such an individual can then work with a team of with the technical team that would actually build the app that would help them to maintain payments, maintain how they would monitor the land that is available in Nigeria. And people outside Nigeria can download that app and actually use it to maintain payments, see what they're buying, verify the quality of the land, and make payments, right? But then there's more like people on one end outside Nigeria, and then there's the organization, the real estate organization in Nigeria. A sales rep can stand in the middle. Oh, I have previous sales rep experience. Let me be the one to represent your tech organization in Nigeria. I'll be the one to go there, show them the slides, show them that our application can actually solve whatever problem they have or whatever challenges they are currently facing within the organization, and make a good deal, shake hands, and you get paid a commission of whatever the deal is worth. So even if what you're getting paid is 1% and you're signing a deal of, let's say, um, how many hundreds, let's £500,000, 1% of 2% of 5% of that, it actually goes a long way. And that is not even a part of what you get paid as an employee, or what your basic salary is. So I'll say to you, whatever previous experience you have, um, even nursing. As a nurse, you're already working with patients. You're already asking them questions, right? How are you feeling today? Where does it hurt? It's my elbow. Okay, is the on a scale of 1 to 10, how much pain are you feeling? And the person says, "Oh, my pain threshold is very low. I'm feeling the pain level of 10." Right? And then you're going to be able to ask them further questions. Oh, what happened? Did you fall? Or maybe not even prompt them. You're going to be able to ask them questions. What happened? And then the person says, oh, they were trying to lift their grandchild, and then they heard the sound crack, and then they can't lift their arm anymore. And then you basically, as you're listening to them, you're writing things down, right? You are basically eliciting information from such a patient. Now, what you've written down is what is going to be passed to the medical practitioner, the doctor, or whoever's going to probably do an X-ray for them, right? And from time to time during your shift, you're checking back on this patient to ask them, "How are you feeling right now?" You are interpreting information. The doctor says, "Oh, let's get a blood sample. Let's get an X-ray. Let's get to administer this medication," and things like that. As a nurse, you are the one that is contacting the patients to keep asking them questions. That is one of the skills required to work as a business analyst. Because as a business analyst, you're working with individuals who have certain challenges, right? And you need to ask them, what are the challenges? How badly is it impacting your business? How badly is it impacting your organization? So things like that are some of the skills that you would actually lift from your previous experience, put it on your current resume, and will make your current resume as outstanding as possible. So I believe with those few points of mine, I've been able to convince you and not to confuse you. Yeah, we have mechanical engineer. As a mechanical engineer, you are actually, and probably this will be the last one I'll take until we have the session for questions. So mechanical engineer, or even someone who studied mathematics and statistics, you actually have subject matter expertise, because imagine you have it. Let's say for Canada, for example, you cannot come from outside Canada and come into Canada and call yourself an engineer until you've actually gone through the scrutiny, the process of the governing body for engineers. So moving into tech as a role, pending your certification, pending the time you get into engineering, is one of the things you can do. Excuse me. Now imagine you, with your knowledge of engineering, you're actually working as a project manager, collaborating with other engineers within the organization. Thank you, Mrs. D. You're able to collaborate with other engineers within the organization. It is still tech. Now, that sector of tech makes you unique, more unique than someone like me who is coming from English language. Because once you put out a diagram in engineering, I really would not be able to understand that because I studied English. So that is for engineering. For someone who studied mathematics and statistics now, you can look into data analysis, because even with all my previous skills that I've acquired with my continuous training in data analytics, my knowledge of things like progressive analysis, things like forecasting is kind of limited. Looking at understanding things like um, let's say how to use statistics to forecast the productivity of staff within an organization. If you don't have very deep knowledge of statistics, you really can't do that except you take extra time to learn it. So such a skill like that, having good understanding of how statistics works, how stratification of the population within an area or within a country or within a province, how it works, actually sets you apart from um, other individuals that are looking to transition into tech from, say, the arts, for example. So a lot of people actually have unique features, unique skills that if they put that on their resume, an employer who is seeing such a resume or a CV would actually know that, okay, if we don't get this person into our organization, we will be the ones that will lose. So we also have here someone who studies statistics can actually look into data science or data modeling. Yeah, that's what I was looking for. The final point here on this slide here is being able to then quantify your achievements. So an outstanding CV or an outstanding resume is one that can actually quantify to say, oh yeah, while I was working between 2015 and 2020, I did one, two, three things. These are major projects. This is probably the cost of the project. This is the composition of the team that I worked with. This was the challenge. This is what I did as an individual. This is what I did within the team. And this is what I have learned from such an experience, quantifiable. From 2020 to 2025, I worked outside Nigeria as maybe the regional marketing analyst or regional marketing personnel for this organization. I supervised or I oversaw 1, 2, 3 countries. I oversaw the operations of our organization within these two countries. These were the things that I achieved. 1, 2. This was the result. I was able to reduce waste or reduce overspending by 20% within the first 6 months of getting into the new role. I was able to make operations better. I was able to do these things. If you're able to quantify your achievements on each of your previous roles that way, it is what people really want to see. Excuse me. And I've sat in interviews before where I can tell that from the quality of the answers that people are providing within that interview, answers or responses to questions, they actually have the skills. And then, but you really can't ask, why didn't you put it in your CV? Why didn't you put it in your resume? So if you don't get asked those things, if you don't use those things to answer questions in an interview, your employer would not even know that you have the skills. So it is actually in being able to, and there's nothing like, oh, I don't want to brag on my CV. Brag, please do. I'm begging you. If you have the skills, put it on your resume. So long as it is relevant to what you're applying for, so long as it is a requirement. Some roles would say, oh, this is a requirement, 1, 2, 3, 4. These are the must-haves, 1, 2, 3. These are the assets for this role. So in saying that, oh, the ideal candidate must have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 skills. The ideal candidate could have 1, 2, 3, 4. If push comes to shove, whatever final candidate we're going to pick, this would be an asset for them. This will give them extra points. So if you see that it's there in the job opening, essential and desirable skills, yeah. So if you see that it is in the job opening, please put it on your CV or your resume. And the reason is because a lot of organizations use robotic process automation to manage their recruitment processes. So when we landed in Canada, quick story here. When we landed in Canada, there were certain roles that I applied for that once I applied for the job, put in my CV, and I closed my laptop, as I'm standing up, I'm getting the message that's saying, sorry, we can't continue with your application process. And I'm like, I hope this is not village people. But it's not village people. It's simply because their RPA bot has actually screened my resume or my CV and seen that, no, this is not a candidate that we want to push to the next level. So they will simply tell me, and then I did that for like 10 applications. There was even the whatever nights like that I sat down and then I think I applied for like 10 roles, and all of them came back as sorry. I was like, oh, let's take this spiritual. But no, it's not. It's not a spiritual battle most of the time, like 99.99999% of the time. It's simply because um, the process is automated, and they're simply saying, oh, if we don't have, let's say, 80% match or 90% match, we won't invite this person for an interview, or we won't invite this person to fill out certain forms that would make them, or we won't take this person to the next stage. It's as simple as that. So it was when I now spoke with mentors, and then they said, "Oh, let's calm down. Let's calm down. Let's calm down. Let's take it step by step. Is your resume or your CV, is it relevant to the job opening? How many words? How many what we call keywords? How many keywords can you find in your resume or your CV that was on the job opening?" So let's look at this page, for example. Now, we have a keyword like leveraging, we have a keyword like international, we have a keyword like experience, outstanding, resume, right? And then it repeats again, relevant resume. We have a keyword like highlights, like competence. So it means that if what it's going to take you is to look at your CV and look at the job opening and match those words, not the not the synonyms, match those exact words. Give that a try first and see if it actually helps. Or better still, you can use artificial intelligence tools to say, oh, dear chat, can you, this is the job opening I want to apply for. This is my resume. What are the things that you think are missing from my CV that should be there if I want to achieve a 90% match? As unreliable as AI would tell you that it is, it will still help you to improve the quality of your CV. So that is how to use tech to get a tech role, if that helps in any way. So those are some of the things that would actually help in getting you into the system as quickly as possible. So I think we've touched every aspect of the slide, so we can move to the next one. Thank you so much for your help. And thank you so much for the engagement. I think it makes this presentation as lively as possible. So yeah, let's keep them coming. So navigating the application process, I think I've mentioned that before. The next thing, once you have been able to decide what role you want to take, you've been able to see what the technical skills are, you've built your resume. The next thing is what is the sentence? Cast your bread upon many waters, right? Give to six and give to seven. Make as much noise as possible. Speak to people that are already in tech. Tell them, oh, I've got this training in cybersecurity. I'm looking at cybersecurity, or I'm looking at this aspect of cybersecurity. For a start, how can you help me? Take my resume, or if you find any opening in your organization, even if you're not going to if you're not going to work with me as a reference, or you're not going to refer me directly, please just send it to me. Tell as many people. I know for sure among the immigrants WhatsApp groups, there are certain groups that would also tell you, oh, people that are tech people looking to transition into tech, come and join this WhatsApp group. If you have such one, please join. Even if it's not on WhatsApp, if it's on Facebook, for example, if it's on LinkedIn, you can join some of those groups so that you'd have up-to-date information on openings. And then it's also left to you. In fact, 80 to 90% of the job of searching for a new role is actually going to be your responsibility. Excuse me. And why I said that is because you'd be the one to, why I said that is because searching for a new job is a full-time job on its own. The only, yeah, absolutely. The only reward for searching for a new job is when you actually get the job. So nobody will pay you for searching for a new job. The reward is in getting an actual job, getting that offer letter. That is when you can rest and say, oh, yeah, let's open a bottle of wine. We did it, before you start moving to the next phase. So, yeah, it's basically 90% of your responsibility to begin to look out for certain jobs. And it's not all the time that the job of a cybersecurity analyst will be written out as cybersecurity analyst. So it means that it's left to you to do as much research as possible to say, what if this organization does not call their own cybersecurity analyst? What if they have a different name for it? Let me use that different name that I think it could be. Let me use that to search. Or you can even ask ChatGPT to say, "Oh, dude, well, that's how I relate to ChatGPT." So I just hey chat, can you? I'm trying to get a role in cybersecurity. Can you tell me some of the names that major organizations call their entry-level cybersecurity analysts? And it's going to give you as many as possible. You can pick each of those names and use that to search online to say, oh, and then you can go to Google or go to LinkedIn and type in those names and get openings like that within your locality. Or better still, if you're really keen on getting a remote job, you have to put that in. And then Google will keep notifying you each time there's an opening. Or you can even bookmark such a link, and then you can keep checking and you keep seeing openings, match the skills. Once it's something you're really comfortable with, then you go ahead and apply, and then you can keep monitoring. So it's also your responsibility to prepare for the interview, right? It's your responsibility to use as many tools as possible. Some of them are free, some of them are subscription based, but then you are the one, excuse me, you are the one that know, um, excuse me, you're the one that know what you want to achieve. You are the one that is responsible for then investing as much as possible. Talking about investing in a career in tech, apart from getting skills, getting certification, joining boot camps, the training never stops because you have to stay relevant. So just like any formal professional career, you can't stop learning. So even after getting into tech, um, some good amount of money has actually gone for me. I'm saying using myself as an example. Some good amount of money has actually gone into retraining myself, meeting mentors, attending conferences or seminars. Despite the fact that I have an organization where I help people, I'm also trying to chase a number of people to say, oh, yeah, it would be nice to meet this person. It would be nice to sit down for coffee with this director, with that director, so that I can acquire knowledge from them. But we'll leave that aside. Let's quickly move to some of the tools. So on this slide, you can use a tool like CareerFlow AI to build your resume or CV, as the case may be. You can use a tool like Loop CV to apply for roles. And then a tool like, and this is from Google, Interview Warm Up by Google. You can use that to actually prepare yourself for interviews. And a tool like Prentice will help you to track your progress. So it's going to tell you, oh, this role has been applied for on this date. You are currently on, maybe you've been invited for an interview. So that way you can then know what stage you are. Even LinkedIn, if you're on LinkedIn Pro, for example, um, you can actually see how well you qualify for certain roles. You can see what percentage of qualification you have in comparison to other people who have applied for the role. So LinkedIn will tell you, oh, you're part of the top 20%, 20% or 20% most viable candidate for this role. It's going to tell you most of the other people that applied for these roles have a master's degree, which you have. So that way you can then be rest assured that, okay, maybe I'll get invited for an interview. And like I said here, AI is a companion. It's not your competitor. No. A lot of news has gone out saying that AI is going to take people's jobs. Yes, it will. It was just like how the calculator, the digital calculator, took jobs from people that were using, is it Abacus now? Just like how Excel took jobs from people that were using paper spreadsheets, balance sheets, right? But then Excel would not do the job on its own. It required people, it required engineers to build it. It required people to work on Excel spreadsheets. it required subject matter experts to actually give feedback to Microsoft to say, oh, this is working fine. This formula is not great. This is not the best it can be. This can be better, and all of that. So that way, as much as AI is taking certain roles, it is also replacing them with certain other roles if you can keep staying relevant. And then, like we said before, accountability is very important. And I believe that has been put in the chat already. Getting a job, getting a new job is a full-time job on its own. So it means that applying for new roles is not about how you feel. I'm sorry to say that here, but then it's the truth. So if you feel great today and you apply for 10 roles, you have to continue with the same energy the following day, or else in another 1 month, you just realize that, oh, another 1 month has passed and you did not even apply for any new roles. So what I usually advise people that I work with to do is to pace themselves. So if it is just one job you can apply for in a day, or even in a weekday, that is probably Monday to Friday, then apply for such a role, and then make it a good quality application, so that way you know that it's if they send you and unfortunately we cannot proceed email, you know that it's not village people, so you can direct your spiritual arrows to the right places. But I mean, um, it will take time before you are able to create a resume that will be a 90% match. So if all you can do on a single day is to build your resume and build or CV and build the cover letter, do that. The following day, you can then go ahead and apply for the job. But then you must be able to know how to be consistent in doing that. For the married folks, you can then select your spouse as an accountability partner. If you're not married yet, you can then look for you can then look for someone who will check up on you to say, oh, hey, did you apply for the role that you said you saw? How many jobs have you applied for this week? Someone to simply check up on you, so that way, whether you're in a great mood or you're tired from working the night shift, you can still wake up the following morning, open your computer, and keep applying for roles. You must ensure that your CV and your cover letter have at least 90% match. And so a tool like JobScan would actually help you with knowing if your CV is a good match. And you can even use ChatGPT, for example. You can say, oh, hey, Chat, I have this opening. Can you see the opening? It's going to tell you yes. Okay, this is the resume I intend to use, or this is the CV I intend to use to apply for this role. Do you think there's anything else missing in such an opening that I need to add to my resume? Can we put that in percentages, or can we use numbers to represent that? So chat will tell you, oh, in the job opening, application was mentioned 4 times, but then in your own CV, it was mentioned 3 times, right? In the job opening, collaboration was mentioned 2 times, but you don't have the word collaboration in your CV. It's going to tell you, oh, in the job opening, communication skills was mentioned 4 times. So it means they really need someone who has adequate communication skills for it to be mentioned 4 times. And then it's going to tell you, but then in your own CV, it wasn't mentioned at all. So that way you can then rework it so that each time you're applying for roles, you have some level of confidence that you've done your own best. Certain other factors will be responsible for them not calling you back, but then you know that you are not the one who is at fault. So certain other factors could be maybe they have other candidates that are more experienced. Fine, it happens. Let's move to the next one, right? It's possible that some organizations would even release a job opening where they have an internal candidate. Things like that happen. So it is in speaking with other people who have similar experience that you know that, okay, there's nothing wrong with me. The fault is not from my own end. It's simply because life happens, things happen. Let's work on that. So building a professional network is one of the amazing amazing things to do. So in building a professional network, one of the advantages is the fact that you're able to meet a mentor who would download probably 5, 10, 15, 20 years of experience to you in probably 2, 3 months, or maybe even during a coffee chat. But then mentors would most likely not come to meet you as a newbie in tech. You are the ones that would chase down the mentor. More like an what's it called now? Elijah Elisha situation. So you have to be the one to keep reaching out to them. Where do you meet mentors? Certain organizations have that system where, as a newbie within the country, you can go to those organizations. We have area here in Canada. As an engineer, as a geologist, you go there, they link you up with other professionals who would then guide you on how to navigate the certification process. We have the same thing for tech in Alberta, the province where I currently live, where as a tech person, you can actually get mentors from an organization. So if it's in church, if it's on the WhatsApp group, please make as much noise as possible so that you can then find someone to say, oh, yeah, I know someone who's trying to get into cybersecurity. I know someone who's trying to get into data engineering. So if you can look out for Mrs. D here, I won't say more than that. She's a data engineer expert. So if that is the path that you're looking to get into, you may want to chase her down and get her contact and set up a meeting with her. Ask what the requirements are. LinkedIn is also a very great place where you can meet people. It's a powerful tool to get role mentors, to get guidance, to get to connect with other people like yourself. So as much as you're trying to chase down mentors, you also want to meet people like yourself who are also trying to transition into tech, who are also trying to get the necessary skills, who you can probably use as study buddies to get certifications. And then, of course, there are certain other groups on LinkedIn where certain tech challenges are posted and you can actually attempt those challenges. So take, for example, there are groups on LinkedIn where they'll put in a code or maybe an SQL query. SQL is for database management. It's a database management tool. And then they'll tell you, is this code correct? If it's not, what is the correct one? So if you keep doing that, it's an opportunity for you to know what the real job is like, right? And that way, you are getting skills. That way, you are within the community of other learners like yourself or other experts like yourself. And that way, it's going to basically enhance your network. I said here that attending events physically, we have certain tech meetups, we have career fairs. There are also online webinars like this one, for example. Probably this is a good opportunity to thank the organizers of this program. It's a great one. And then, of course, volunteering is also a very good opportunity to learn how the workplace works, how to communicate in the workplace setting, how to collaborate with other people. And it's certain organizations will tell you if you volunteer for certain number of weeks or certain number of months, we're going to give you what we call job reference, or we're going to you can add us um, to your CV, and that is one of the things that actually helped me when I moved to Canada. So we can move to the next slide, and where I'll be briefly talking about some of the other challenges. And I believe I talked about this before. Local experience is one of the challenges. Some organizations will tell you, oh, you don't have UK experience. Your experience is from back in Nigeria. But then, like I said before, if you're able to make your CV as convincing as possible, let's not forget the word quantifiable achievements. If you're able to quantify your previous achievements, then it will help you to convince the employer or the recruiter that, yes, my expense is not local. My expense is from Nigeria. My expense is from Kenya or some other part of Africa, but it is very much relevant. And then I said here, high expectations. And what I mean by high expectations is this. There are situations whereby newcomers will get into a country and they need a job. They need to start making pounds ASAP, probably because there's a loan that needs to be paid from in Nigeria. Probably the proof of funds is inadequate. These are some of the challenges. It's real. It's there. The fact that probably some of us are not facing it right now does not mean it's absent. So if you find yourself in such a situation, you may not want to wait until you get a role in tech before you start making money. If you can get something else, pending the time you start working in tech, probably that's a good direction. But then it's then left to you to hold yourself accountable to say, oh, whatever it is, I'm going to get a role in tech. But while I'm waiting, let me get this. Let me get this job. We call them survival jobs here because when you land in a foreign country, you really need to survive. You really need to stop spending Nigerian naira that was converted to pounds and start spending pounds to pay your bills, right? And then, of course, we have understanding the workplace culture. First, probably would be accent. Second is, we Nigerians, we have the age factor. A huge number of us, I do. But then it's until you get into an environment you where you actually work with other people who speak differently like yourself, that is when you can get to start learning how to pronounce certain words differently, especially if you're working in an environment or if you find yourself in an environment where other people also have very local accents. um, Canada is a little bit liberal, but I know for sure the UK have different variants of English language. So you really want to probably start volunteering, meeting people who would share their experience so that you have a way of adapting to the new workplace as quickly as possible. So yeah, we can move to, I believe that would be the final slide here. So like I said, one of the most important things is to know what role, do your research, know the role that you want to get into, um, work with people, or do your research to get the skills that are required. And then, like I said, strategic networking is very important. And if one of the things you're considering is to get into data analysis, iTech Blitz Consulting Inc. actually organizes data analysis training. Probably I would just stop by saying that I believe there should be another opportunity to go into that details. But um, the last slide simply just has my first and last names. You can look out for me on LinkedIn, connect with me. You'd be able to see some of the things that we do at iTech Beat. And then I believe the link that takes you to the landing page for our training. Our training starting in March for data analysis is already put in here. So you can search for me on LinkedIn, on Facebook as well. Same first name, same last name, Ayotomide Alo. And you can see some of the content that we've put out there, some of our trainings, some of the questions that you may have. I have actually answered some of them in videos that I posted before now. So let's move over to the questions. Thank you so much for engaging in this in the chat. I really appreciate how we're able to get as many feedback as possible. So yeah, let's move over to the questions. Let's have them come in.
Wow, wow, wow. I mean, that was amazing, Tommy. Thank you so much. Let's see the fire emoji in the comments section if you've gained a thing or two. Just drop in the comments what stood out for you in today's webinar. That's amazing. And if you're buzzing to like right now, I'm the top of a tech company. As you're looking at me right now, I'm the CEO. With the things I've heard, I'm thinking there's nothing I can't do. So let's see you engaging in the comment section, how you're feeling about this webinar. And as you're doing that, if you have any questions, please start to pop them into the comments. For me, Tommy, it's been a very insightful session, and just knowing that anything is really possible when you set your mind to it, and just harnessing the power of what's already inside of you, what's innate to you, and what you can also glean from people that you know, and people that know people that you need, and just working towards that goal. And I love how you said that applying for jobs in itself is a full-time job, and you just have to be committed and determined to put yourself out there and get something. And I must say, the things that you yourself have accomplished is yes, everybody might be wowed by it and be, wow, my goodness, this is a law. But the truth of the matter is that is a lot of hard work and dedication and resilience that has gone into there. And that's one thing that I would like everybody to take away from today, that you can also be a Tommy. Let's make Tommy a verb. You can be a Tommy. So anyway,
And you can say, oh,
questions.
yeah, like the job interview was tough, but I told it,
Exactly. There we go. There we go. Amazing. I love that. So any question? I'm not seeing any questions just yet. So I know that Tommy has already shared how we can connect with him. If you're looking to transition, data analytics is one of the ways that you can get in, like he's extensively spoken about. So yeah, happy for you to connect that. We're also, whilst we're on that, waiting for the link is sort of streaming down on the screen as we're watching. Okay, it seems everybody's nobody has a question. It just means your presentation was brilliant, Tommy. You covered all the bases. Kizito says thanks so much. This is really inspiring. Rudrak says this has been very inspiring. Thanks, Tommy. Atanuka says thank you so much for today's session. Very insightful. Okay, whilst we're waiting for comments or questions to come in, just to very quickly say, if you're new here and just joining us, this is Parents Supporting Parents in the UK. We're a group that is there just to provide support for and to ourselves in the UK, especially for people that are just coming into the country, so that you can be settled. So if you're interested in joining us, the link is showing. You can scan that QR code that is showing right there, or go to the link. We only accept UK lines, so if you still have your Nigerian WhatsApp number or Canada, like Tommy, we wouldn't be accepting you. It would just be UK for now. It's just for accountability and just for safety as well in the here and now. So yeah, scan that. There's a question that's coming from Yewande. Is there a difference, Tommy, this is for you, between business analysis and data analysis? And I think that's a brilliant question. Over to you, Tommy.
Yeah, thank you so much. That's a great question. So I would say that yes, there's a difference. A lot of there are a lot of similarities between them, but then what they do within the organization is different. So the business analyst is more like the one doing the collaboration for a tech project. Take for example, let's say let me look out for a popular application. You've seen some of the changes in WhatsApp in terms of the shade of the color, the shade of the green, how you can actually use WhatsApp to enhance a number of things, right? Probably also the introduction of the chat bot into WhatsApp that you can actually use to answer certain questions. That can actually answer certain questions. Such a project like that, or such an upgrade like that, um, is one of the things that a business analyst does. So the business analyst in, say, Meta, for example, would be the one to collaborate between the engineers that build those features, would be the one to collaborate with the people that would test such features before it is released. The business analyst would probably be the one to break down such a project into what we call iterations, or maybe even the Scrum Master would do that, break it down into small bits, plan, document each of the bits, and then, of course, collaborate with everyone, make sure that it's running smoothly, right? But then, a lot of times, the business analyst has data analytics knowledge. because certain business analysis roles would require you to actually work with data. And how would a business analyst work with data? So let's say, for example, now that the upgrade has been released on WhatsApp, you then have to monitor how many people think it's great. You have to monitor what the feedback is to say, 25% of the people using WhatsApp think it's not necessary. Um, 75% think it's great, right? And then you'll be able to analyze that feedback so that you can possibly continue in that same direction or pivot to a different direction. So that's a business analyst on one side. Now, the data analyst is quite different because you are working with core data. So as a data analyst, you're probably looking at how much sales an organization makes. From the total sales that the organization makes, how many sales are coming from people between ages 18 and 25, ages 25 and 50, 50 and above. So that way the organization is then able to say, because the bulk of our sales is coming from the senior citizens, let us ensure that we target them for subsequent advertisements. Now, you can see where the difference is. You are possibly working with the decision makers to tell them what information you have, what insights you can actually bring out from the information that you've analyzed, and help them to make informed business decisions. Now, for people who are maybe torn between business analysis and data analysis, even for organizations or for individuals, a number of them probably would gather what we call business intelligence knowledge. So you're able to then collaborate as a data analyst. You're able to elicit requirements as a data analyst, or better still, as a business analyst, you're able to use data analysis tools. So it's more like what do we call it now? A Venn diagram that kind of overlaps. So, but then if your core focus would be business analysis, you can still achieve that. But then probably 10% of your job would still need you to analyze data. And if your direction is data analysis, probably about 10 to 20% of your skills will need you to elicit requirements, to coordinate meetings, to do presentations, to break down really complex data for decision makers. I hope that answers the question.
I think that was brilliant, Tommy. Thank you. So distinctively, we're saying a business analyst they get their boots in, murky in the affairs of the actual business itself, seeing the bigger picture for the business, how to help the business make better business decisions, whilst the data analysts, they get in their hands really dirty in the data, digging in to supply all of the data and the analysis required for the business itself to be able to base their decision upon. Brilliant. I hope that answers your question to the person that asked it. Thank you so much, Tommy. We have another question. She says, thank you. Very insightful. So that's wonderful. Udrak says, what were your challenges when you were, trying to get a job? Which I know you touched on, but perhaps just once that expanded upon a little bit more, and the challenges faced whilst you were building those skills that you sort of iterated for us and mentioned whilst you were speaking.
Oh yes, absolutely. Thank you for the question. So one of the challenges for me was first getting to know what the requirement here is. So like I said, I'd probably been working with data for quite some time, but then because I was not called a data analyst or a business analyst within the organization where I worked, it was a financial institution. In fact, I had worked in 3 financial institutions, but none of them, I wasn't called a data analyst in any of them. So I didn't realize that coming to Canada, I should have looked out for data analysis roles or at least a business analyst role. So that was the first challenge. So in solving that, I actually reached out to people who were already doing some of these things. I joined the boot camp. I got the training required. I attended the assignments that were required of me in the boot camp. And then shortly after, halfway into the program, I realized that, okay, maybe I have enough skills to then start applying for roles. So the next challenge was then building a resume that would be convincing enough. So it was when I started building the resume that I realized that, oh, there were still certain other outstanding skills that I should have that I did not have. So in solving that, I actually opened a journal. I had a big book where I was writing all the things that I'd learned. So I had like the left side of the notepad where I was writing things down. Confluence, how to use Confluence, how to use SharePoint, for example, how to use BPMN, and that is like a diagram, like a model, how to um, create certain wire strings for, say, an application, for example, how to improve on my presentation skills, how to design PowerPoint, what's it called, presentations. I had to write down each of those things. One of them was also getting certified as a business analyst. So I put those things down and then I started attempting each of them. And then my goal was basically to acquire at least 70% of that knowledge before I can put it back into my resume. That was the second thing. The third challenge was then applying for roles and being able to defend what I had written in my CV. It's one thing to write something in your CV to say, oh, yeah, I know Excel, I know Microsoft Excel. It's another thing to defend it in an interview. And then they ask you, do you know Excel? And like, which of the Excels? Because the truth is, the use of Excel, for example, as basic as it sounds, is unique in each organization. One organization would use Excel as just a spreadsheet. Another organization will use Excel modeling for, say, performance tracking. Another organization will use Excel, Microsoft Excel, for as a forecasting tool to measure seasonality. In the organization where I work, I use Microsoft Excel to do all those things. And then in addition, I use it to also monitor things like economic factors, things like interprovincial migration. And that was why I mentioned that the lady that studied mathematics and statistics has a very good opportunity in data, either data science or data analysis. Now, the next challenge for me was then, after defending those skills, was then what we call imposter syndrome. So because I was new into the country at the time, I was always watching my back to say, okay, I hope they don't know that I'm learning new things as I'm working on this job. So someone would come and meet me, and then would say, "Oh, hi, can you do this analysis and that analysis and that analysis?" And I'm like, before I say yes, let me be sure that I I know what I'm saying, because it at first it felt like, okay, if I tell them I don't have the skills, they probably tell me, okay, give us our offer letter, get out, and that's all. But then a lot of organizations would not even do that. Some of them would sit with you to guide you on the knowledge that you need to acquire. Some of them would tell you beforehand what projects they're working on, so that way you have an opportunity to quickly go and get those skills before. Take for example a tool like Power BI. I did not have a lot of knowledge in Power BI until I realized that, okay, our organization was going to start using Power BI to do certain things. So I had like 2-3 weeks to quickly go and sit down and learn as much as possible in Power BI. Now, I think I have very good knowledge of Power BI that I can even teach. Although I'm not the one that teaches the training in Power BI, we have trainers for that. But then that is a good example, having that imposter syndrome. But then the two solutions that I have for imposter syndrome would then be skills. Nothing replaces that requirement. If you have the skills, you'll somehow have the confidence. And then the second thing is to then believe in yourself, to speak to yourself, to say, yeah, I can do this. This is the challenge we have now. Getting to do 1, 2, 3, 4. I think if I practice enough, if I speak to people who are already doing it, I can also do the same thing. These people don't have two heads like like what we say back in Nigeria. I say something, let me activate my let me activate my aggression, my personal aggression. So once you put that helmet on, knowing that you can achieve anything, you'll be able to ace whatever you have in front of you as a challenge. Thank you.
Amazing, amazing. Thank you so much, Tommy. I hope that's answered your question, Udak. I think that was an extensive response to that question, being able to highlight the challenges and how you overcame those challenges. So Yewande is saying that she's a nurse. And I think this is on the back of you answering that question of business analyst versus data analysis. And what's your advice for her in terms of, I'm guessing, and expanding on your question, Yewande, in terms of transferable skills, or what would you be better suited to as a nurse?
Thank you so much for that question. Like I said earlier on, it's not only your current role or your previous experience that would help you to determine what new role to pick. So apart from being a nurse, if you tell me I'm a nurse, I want to get into tech, I would say go get business analysis. But it's also possible that as a nurse, you probably have a first degree in something different from nursing. It could be maybe economics or maths, or maybe nursing itself. It could be something in the sciences, what we call science, tech, engineering, and mathematics, right? So if that is your educational background, maybe you already have the background knowledge of what you'll be using in data analysis. So for me, I would say we can take that conversation out of here. You can reach out to me on LinkedIn. It is in answering a number of other questions. Are you great with numbers? Are you do you have what we call attention to details in terms of knowing as quickly as possible when something is wrong? So are you able to quickly read errors in the data you're working with, or in the query you're working with, or in the codes that you're working with if you're coding with a computer language program? If you're able to do that, then maybe your direction would be data analysis and not business analysis. Some people would say, oh, yeah, I'm not great with numbers. Let me probably stay in business analysis. And that is me just being fair. I wouldn't say because I'm organizing a training in data analysis, then let me push you to data analysis. If looking at other things, like I know for sure there's some people that are really great talkers. If you're a great talker, you may want to go into business analysis, which is something, because business analysts are the ones organizing meetings, right? Facilitating meetings, eliciting requirements. They are the ones that are doing the interviews. They're the ones that are observing people while they're doing their work. They're the ones that are asking all the questions. But the data analyst is doing more of the, I wouldn't call it dirty work, but they are rolling up their sleeves, working with data before. It is until after they've worked with the data that they can come and present it. So the business analyst is talking more than the data analyst. So if naturally you're an introvert and you don't want to change that, you probably want to go into data analysis. So those are some of the other factors, and that's why I'm saying, yeah, you can always reach out and then asking some other questions, because that's what we do at iTech Blitz. We would not just say, oh, because your interest is in tech, come and join our training. We want to ask you certain questions. If we feel that by advising you, by guiding you properly, you can do some other things, then of course would guide you to do that. So
amazing, Tommy. Thank you so much, Yewande, and I hope that has helped you and given you a bit of an insight. And I think a huge thank you to Tommy for opening up his doors to say, we can come back to him to ask questions and spend this currency of networking. So off you go to network with Tommy, and I'm sure he would guide you more. Yewande says business analysis it is. Then thanks, Tommy. So yeah, there you go. And Kizito is saying he's undergone a boot camp in Udemy on Udemy on data science. Oh wow, data science. Currently working on projects, but I really need mentorship. Oh well, okay. I don't know if that's something Tommy can provide. So usually it's not really a question, but Tommy, do you have anything to say to that?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for that. And thanks, Kizito, for the question. So for mentoring now, like I said, it does not necessarily have to be anchored on me as a person or my organization. Um, so I'd say, for example, have you gone to, excuse me, have you gone to search mentors on LinkedIn, for example? Do you have a community on Udemy where you can actually link up with other people that are currently doing the training like yourself? Have you spoken with people in your local community? Like I said, WhatsApp groups. Have you asked the question, oh, who is currently working as a data science? Who's currently working on this? And the reason is because you really need someone in that field to mentor you because you need them to review what you've done. So that is one of the things. That is why I would suggest LinkedIn, suggest the training itself, your community within the training itself, and maybe the Niger community in the UK to ask questions like, "Oh, yeah, I'm currently working on this project. Um, do we have someone who has done this training before now who can review what I've done?" Because if someone is able to review what you've done, they would be able to give you feedback, and that makes it viable for posting on probably your GitHub profile or maybe your LinkedIn profile to say, "Well, I've done this. 5 people reviewed it, and this is their feedback." And then you can take that to add to your CV or even discuss about it in an interview setting. So if they're asking you questions on certain tools that you've used, and you are able to speak to it, and they are able to click the link and see that, oh, this guy did this, and 4 or 5 people have reviewed it. They put in their comments there. That way, it gives it some level of credibility, right? So, absolutely.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Tommy, for that. And I'm sure Kizito, that you can always reach out to him on LinkedIn, if you need any more pointers. Oh, bless you, Chema. Chema says, I love the anchor's voice, is British in. Well, years of staying here will do that to you. Thank you, Chema. That's lovely. I just wanted to add, that Tommy has covered a lot of things, but please don't be discouraged if you're wanting to go into tech and you're thinking you're hearing a lot of tools being mentioned. There is so much more, to tech that time would not permit Tommy to mention. He's mentioned so many things that, if you're not in the tech space, you might even find it really difficult to comprehend and grasp. But there are aspects of tech that doesn't particularly involve you using too many tools or working too extensively with data. So still feel free to reach out to Tommy. Don't think, oh, I can't reach out to him, he won't be able to help. No, that's not the case.
I remember something happened when we landed. Before coming to Canada, I'd not heard about the role of a Scrum Master before. Yeah, it is what it is, right? So getting here, and I was speaking with one of the mentors at the time that I was trying to connect with, and she said, "Oh, by the way, you need to get a Scrum Master certificate." I wrote it down as Scrum. What nurses wear, what the folks at the healthcare wear. And then when I went to tell my wife, when I was giving my wife the feedback, I said, "Oh, and then by the way, she said I need to get a business analyst certification. I need to get Six Sigma." She said yes, and then she mentioned something. I said, "Yeah, Scrum, Scrum, brother." And then my wife was like, "Dude, are you okay? What is Scrum Master?" No, it's Scrum Master. And then we had to like go back to Google and search. And then I realized, oh my days, it is actually Scrum and not Scrum. So not having enough knowledge of these things, of these tools, does not make you unqualified. These are things that you can learn in 3 to 6 months if you really put in the work. So now I have the certification as a Scrum Master and not a Scrum Master. I mean, so those are some of the things that could discourage you to say, "Oh, yeah, it's so much information," and then you begin to probably reconsider your life choices. But then I tell you, it's just one of those things. You're working with people in not being shy that you're new, that you need to acquire the knowledge. You'd be able to get really, really far. Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you so much once again. If you have felt this webinar today, can I see you making comments in this comment section? Drop your emojis. And can we just say a massive, massive thank you to Tommy? I don't see any more questions here, but you know, our doors are open. Again, the link is scrolling on the screen right now. If you're interested in, you know, working with Tommy with High Tech Blitz in terms of their data analytics program, and I'm sure they've got so many other things lined up. And as he said, you know, come as you are, they can advise and sort of set you on the straight and narrow. Before you know it, you're a tech bro or Texas women in tech. Thank
Yeah.
you. I know. Thank you so much, Tommy. This has been absolutely insightful. Just, you know, breath of fresh air and showing us that anything is possible if you set your mind to it. I'm not seeing the thank yous in the comment section. Please, let's say thank you, Tommy, except you've not been, you know, impacted. Kizito says, thank you so much. I think you answered this question. He really appreciates it. Choma says, thank you so much as well. She came in late, but she was able to grab something. Choma, you can always catch a replay, you know, just using exactly the same link. As soon as we finish, in fact, it's already, you know, available. So I myself will be listening to it over and over again. There are a couple of tools on there. I'm like, I wanna sniff that out just to see what that's about. You know, and if you know, just zoning on how you know, he spoke about preparation for your application, preparation for your interviews, and all of those are, you know, gold that you can mine in this current climate that we're in. So this has been really, really impactful. Maureen says thank you so much. Tommy, you've been absolutely amazing, such an amazing session. Once again, if you want, we're going to be posting, I'm probably sure an admin would have done that already. If not, we'll drop this link on the group link and the group page. And if you're not one of us and you want to join us, we're blowing the trumpet again. If you're interested, scan that QR code that you're looking at on screen or go to that link to join us. Again, UK numbers only, just for safety and for accountability. And honestly, there is no dull moment on the group. It's always vibing. Saturdays are market days. Today, everybody they've been selling their markets. Come and buy your goods and stuff. And during the week, we're solving one problem or the other, averting crisis. I kid you not, real life crises have been averted and lives have been saved tremendously, literally. And I mean, what Tommy has just delivered to us now is life-saving and can be very life-changing and transformative for someone that decides to put in the work. Chema says she'll catch a replay. Udrak says, thank you so much, Tommy. Adeshala says, thank you so much, Tommy. I think everybody has really appreciated this session. So thank you so very much, Tommy. We're so pleased to have you. We'll definitely be checking out High Tech Blitz. Keep up the good work. Thank you so much for joining us once again. We'll continue our conversation behind the scene and on the group. For people that are joining us, again, you can catch the replay using exactly the same link. I think that's it, really. I don't think there's any other thing to say. If there's any other question that comes up when you're watching replay, drop it in the group chat, and I'm sure somebody can get it to tell me one way or the other, or an admin can help you, and we can move on. So yeah, everybody's just saying thank you. So thank you so much, Tommy. It's been amazing having you here. Thank you for giving us that time. We know time is money. I don't know what time it is in Canada now, but I don't have the brain power or cell power to calculate that.
Whatever time you guys are 7 hours ahead of us, and Nigeria is 8
hours ahead.
7 hours ahead.
God, I was going to say, gosh, 7 hours. Yeah. Oh, okay. Oh, wow. Yeah. Behind. So we're ahead of you.
Yeah. You guys are ahead. So I mean, I still have the chance to change my ways before 7 p.m.
we can tell you how the rest of Saturday is going.
Saturdays, exactly. Yeah. So I can know what to watch out for and all of that, right? So.
Oh, fantastic! Such amazing thing to be able to do. Connect. I mean, we're connecting via tech. Literally 7 hours apart. Absolutely amazing. So once again, thank you. I'm going to release you. I'm going to release everybody. Catch a replay, join the group, and stay connected. And let's conquer 2025 together. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Speak later. Thank you.
Bye,
You
everybody.
too. Bye. Bye,
Bye.
everyone. Bye.